Welcome back, Marty here with another Visual Basic video. In this video, we'll be creating a simple calculator program. Remember to give this video a like and watch the other videos in this series to learn as much as you can. Let's create a project using Windows Forms. And give it a name. Resize the window so it is shaped more like a calculator. Change the text in the property window to say calculator. Let's add a text box to hold all of our numbers. We are going to need a lot of buttons for this program. Add one in and drag it to the appropriate size. Copy and paste that button 5 times to create our function buttons. Go through and change the properties of each so we have division, addition, multiplication, and an equals button. Now add a long button on the bottom for 0. And then copy and paste enough buttons for the remaining numbers. Go through and change the properties of each of them as we did before. Copy the 0 button so we can get a button the same size. Let's put that up the top and use this button as our clear button for the calculator. Okay, so now that we have all of the buttons laid out nicely, let's make this function like a calculator. Start with the 0 button. Let's add in 2 integers to store our numbers. As you can see, I have added them on the same line. All you have to do this is to separate them by a comma, and add in a string to store the current operator we are using. Like for example, if we are doing addition or subtraction, we will store that value in here. Now in the 0 button clicked code, let's add in some code to add a 0 into the text box. You can use plus equals here, as we have done in our previous tutorial videos as well. This will save you writing a lot of extra code, as I've mentioned before, and it also makes it look a lot neater. Let's now do this for each of the remaining buttons. I'll fast forward this, so you might want to pause the video while you catch up. Now all of the numbers have been programmed, let's work on the clear button. We want to set both of the integers to 0 and our op string to nothing, as well as clear the text box. Let's set up the remaining buttons. They will all be similar, except the operator will change. So what we're going to do here is set the operator to whichever button we've pressed. Then take the text from text box 1 and store it in num1. Then clear the text box so it's ready for our second number to be input. Copy this code and use it for each of the remaining operator buttons. Just change the operator string to the correct operator. For example, this button is divide, so we'll use the division symbol. For addition, we would use the plus symbol. Now let's set up our last button, the equals button. This button will work out our equation. First we will take the number that is in text box 1 and store it in num2. Let's do an if statement for each of the possible operators. All we want to say is, if the operator is plus, then add the numbers together. If it is minus, then minus the two numbers, and do this for each operator. Now we need to write the result, which we've stored in num1 as an integer, to the text box. Okay, so there's going to be a few issues that this calculator will have, as we've not created a perfect calculator. For example, you could click in the text box and enter letters, or you will also have issues when you're trying to use more than one operator before pressing equals. But at least you get the idea, and now have a very simple working calculator. Let's test it out. As you can see, it is now working. If you want to see a more complex calculator, let me know in the comments below. Hopefully you've learned something from this video. Remember to give it a like and check out the next video in this series.